Hi guys, it's Nicole. So I am almost 14 months out from gastric bypass surgery and I'm down over 110 pounds. So I thought today we could talk about 20 things that I can do now that I couldn't do or were very difficult for me to do 100 pounds ago. So the first thing is something that I am currently doing, and I did it without even thinking about it, and that is crossing my legs. So let me see if I can move my chair back enough for you to see. Like, how easy is that? I just crossed my legs. No big deal, right? Watch, I can do it again. Oh my goodness. 100 pounds ago, I could technically cross my legs, but I needed help in that I either had to maneuver my leg with my hands, or like I would grab onto my pant leg and heft it over. But yeah, now just do it myself, it's great. I don't know. They used to say that crossing your legs maybe isn't the best for you, but whatever. I just do it without even thinking now. It's just how I sit these days. Something else that is much easier these days is tying my shoes. I used to just, wear shoes that didn't tie, or I would leave my shoes tied and then squeeze my foot into my shoe, stretching it out. And yeah, I will admit there are some shoes that I still leave tied and squeeze my foot back into just because I'm lazy. But nowadays I am much better at untying my shoe, putting my foot in and tying it back up because it's easier now. I can just bend over and do it. I have a bad hip, and so I used to blame my problems with tying my shoe on inflexibility because of my hip. But no, it was the belly. The belly was the issue. And now that I don't have that, yeah, I can just bend over and you can't see, but I'm pretending to tie my shoe right now, and it's working wonderfully. Very similarly, I can also now paint my toenails. Well, 100 pounds ago, it was very difficult for me to clip my toenails or paint them. I'd have to get down on the floor and kind of yoga pose to try to get my feet close enough to be able to reach my toes. And I have very short legs. I'm only 5 feet tall, but it was very, very difficult. So yeah, now again, I'm miming painting my toenail. It's just very easy. Like, I don't even think about it. I can just do it. Another thing is getting off of the floor. So I hope I kept a video from about 100 pounds ago, right before I had my surgery. I filmed a video of me getting up off the floor because it was so difficult to do. And so I think that I don't want to, but I think what's best is for me to now film a video of me getting up off the floor. Hopefully you can see me. So, okay, the camera can't see me too much, but here I am sitting on the floor, and now I can just get up. Like, it's easy. I have old lady aches and pains that make it a little harder to get up off the floor, but yeah, so much easier now. And it's not something that, like it used to when I would be in groups of people, or, like I used to work with kids, and I would just get so anxious because I knew I'd have to sit on the ground, and then I'm like, how am I going to get back up off the ground? Back when I weighed more. So I don't have that anxiety anymore. I mean, I know it's going to maybe hurt my joints a little bit to get up off the floor, but I know I can do it. And I don't need other people to help me, or I don't need furniture around that I can hold on to get up. Okay, so one embarrassing thing that happened to me, and this was not too long before I had my gastric bypass surgery. My family, my sister and my brother-in-law and my niece came to pick me up to take me to, we were all going to go to dinner together. And my brother drives a pretty big truck that's pretty, like, lifted. I think that's the term. It's lifted. But so they pull up at the house, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll get into this big truck. No, Nicole. No, you were not getting in that truck. I couldn't. I just physically could not get into the truck. And so, he didn't have like a step rail. Again, terminology, I don't know if that's the right term, but my sister isn't much taller than me, and she was able to get in, but she was much thinner than me and was able to do it. You know, my brother-in-law was like, we could get a stepladder, and like we tried first. He backed up, so he was alongside the curb, and I tried, you know, stepping up from the curb, but the curb was not tall enough, so he suggested a stepladder. But then I was like, we'll have to take the stepladder with us, and then in the parking lot after dinner, I'll have to use the stepladder. No, that's embarrassing. So they drove their truck. I then followed in my car. It was pretty discouraging, but nowadays it's not pretty, but I can get into the truck. So I'll put those videos. I took a video. I had my niece film a video shortly after that, you know, back when I weighed more, to show me trying to get in. It's not a very valiant effort. There just was no way. And then recently we filmed a video where I successfully made it into the truck. One thing I'm looking forward to being able to do again, hopefully, is to be able to get into the big truck unassisted. So I'll show you my attempt as a fat lady, and we'll, yeah, okay. This is my attempt. Like I can't even. Yeah, it's not working. But I would just. There we go. That wasn't too bad.
You had to get the little kicks in.
What little kicks?
Good job.
There are a lot of active things that maybe I could have done. So like hiking. I could hike before, just not long distances. I never tried doing challenging hikes, but this summer I went and I hiked Angel's Landing, which is a popular and well known for being dangerous hike. I didn't think it was that dangerous, but it's very narrow and very high up. It was very thrilling. I wouldn't have even attempted that 100 pounds ago. There's some scrambling involved, and I would not have been able to do that. No. And there are parts of the hike on Angel's Landing where you're holding onto a chain because it's so narrow, and there are people coming up and going down at the same time. So you kind of have to maneuver around people, and I don't think I would have been able to do that. And it would have been incredibly mortifying. So, yeah. Other active things, kayaking. So I had never tried kayaking before. I don't know if I would have been able to do it. I think I probably would have been physically able to, you know, paddle, but I probably would have been able to fit into the kayak, but I would have been embarrassed. Wouldn't have even tried, never tried. Rock climbing. So I've only been rock climbing in the gym, but it would have been, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Like I wouldn't have been able to lift myself up 100 pounds ago. Yoga poses. So I've done yoga off and on over the years. And when I was at my heaviest, I could still do some yoga, but could not do all the poses. I could not do child's pose. I can do child's pose now. I'm not going to show that to you because I'm in jeans right now. But trust me, I can do child's pose now. Yeah, I can, you know, do all of the basic poses now. And I think that if I keep at yoga, I'll be able to do more of the advanced poses. And I wouldn't have been able to do that with 100 pounds on me. Just, you know, you just can't bend very well when you have mass in the way. But yeah, so it's a lot easier and a lot more, like my body feels a lot better doing the poses now. It doesn't feel like I'm fighting my body. It feels like my body's working with me. So the next thing, and I think this is number 10 if I'm counting right, is kneeling. So, you know, cleaning, gardening, all that stuff that requires kneeling, I just avoided in the past, you know, because I had a bad knee, which, fair, I do have a bad knee because I'm old, but it hurt so bad to kneel when I was heavier. Like, and then to combine it with like bending over to mop or whatnot, like I wouldn't be able to breathe because my belly would be compressing my diaphragm. It was painful and awful, and I just wouldn't do it. But now I can kneel down just fine. Still hurts a little bit, but I mean, I can do it, and I can do it. It's fine. So I am a single lady. I have thrown my hat into the online dating ring. I'm not gonna lie, it's bleak. I have not had much success, but I will say, like, I've posted a lot of, I did online dating in the past, and that was when I was thinner many, many years ago, like 15 or so years ago. And it was always really disappointing when you'd meet up with somebody and you would be like, oh, okay, so you posted really old pictures of yourself because you do not look anything like your pictures. So I am very much an advocate of posting current, accurate photos. When I weighed 100 pounds more, like I did not want to be in pictures, one, so I didn't have any pictures of myself, but I was not, like I had thought sometimes about, starting an online dating profile, but no, there was no way I was going to post pictures of myself, even though they would be seeing me and seeing what I look like, if we were to meet in person. No, I was not going to post pictures of myself back then. But my current online dating profile has a ton of pictures of current me, and I like posting them and I'm being like, this is what I look like. So again, I have not met a single person from online yet. Like I've talked to 2 people and both of those conversations went nowhere. That's a whole other can of worms. But anyway, it just having the confidence to get out there into online dating. I wouldn't have done 100 pounds ago. Okay, so the next one is jumping up onto the countertop. I used to do this all the time as a kid, right? I'm sure everybody did. You're talking with people in the kitchen, you just kind of pop yourself up on the counter and hang out, or you need to reach something in a high cupboard and you're only 5 feet tall, so you need to climb up on the counter. I couldn't do that for many, many years. But yeah, now I can just pop myself up on the counter. Feels good. I feel like a kid again. No, I don't. My joints hurt. Horseback riding. So, growing up, my cousins had horses and I rode horses a few times as a kid. It was a lot of fun. Really liked it. And then there were just always times where I thought, oh, maybe I'll, go horseback riding when I was heavier, and then I would be like, oh no, that poor horse. There were a couple times I checked the weight requirements. Usually it was like you have to be under 250 pounds, which I was never over 250 pounds. But there were a few times when I saw weight requirements under 220, and I was definitely over 220 a few times. So it just, like even when the weight requirement was 250 and I was still under, I was like, oh, I don't want to do that to a horse. So I just never felt good enough to go horseback riding. But I went horseback riding a few months ago and it was a lot of fun. My hip it would hurt because of my hip. But I could do it. I didn't feel terrible for the horse. Like he seemed to be having an A-okay time. And yeah, it was fun. It was fun to be back in the saddle. It's cheesy. So the next thing is checking weight limits on stuff. So I lived alone. I owned my own house and I lived alone for many, many years. And so, things would need to be fixed. I'd need to get out the ladder. One time I was climbing up the ladder and saw on this big sticker, weight limit not to exceed 220 pounds. And I was like, oh crap, is this going to collapse on me? It didn't collapse on me. One of the legs did start to bend. That's scary. But yeah, it just, everything I had to check. 100 pounds ago, I was having to check, everything to check the weight requirements. There would be, a folding chair, and I would think, oh my gosh, is that going to be sturdy enough to hold me? But now, I don't think about that anymore. I'm pretty, I'm under the average weight of most people, so it isn't a consideration anymore. I've mentioned this in a few videos. 100 pounds ago, I had to have the maroon plus size adult arm cuff at the doctor's office, and I hated that. And now I have the blue regular size adult blood pressure cuff, and I don't know why I see that as a win, but I do. Another thing that I never would have done 100 pounds ago was tell people, like voluntarily tell people my weight or voluntarily get on a scale. 100 pounds ago, when I'd go to the doctor's office and he'd be like, okay, time to get your weight, I would be like, do we have to this visit? Sometimes they'd be like, oh no, if you don't want to, I can just put declined. But usually they were like, yeah, we have to. And I would just I would take off everything. If I could get naked, I would have, and then get on the scale and I would tell them, don't tell me what it says. I don't want it to ruin my day. Or, people would ask my weight and I'd be like, 220. Or I'd say 215, because I really thought, I was fine with lying, and thought that was much difference. But anyway, nowadays I'm just like, hey guys, guess what? I've lost 110 pounds, 112 pounds, and this is how much I weigh right now. Guess what, guys? I this morning I weighed 116 pounds, and I don't care now. I tell everybody right away. I go to the doctor's office. We need to get your weight. Okay, cool. I had 2 doctor's appointments back to back, and even though it's like the same hospital, like before, I got weighed at the first one, and then the second one asked me to step on the scale. Before, 100 pounds ago, I'd have been like, no, they already weighed me once today. That's good enough. No, I was just like, cool, get on the scale again. And I'm like, oh, this one's 0.3 pounds different than than an hour ago. Yeah, I'm cool telling people my weight now, which is weird. 100 pounds ago, I was very focused on how much space I was taking up, especially when it comes to things like airplane seats. So I was never to the point of needing a seatbelt extender, but I was very conscious of, if my leg was close to touching the leg of the person next to me, or my arms, or just if I was encroaching into the space of other people. I'm still like a cognizant person. I'm still a considerate person, but I'm not completely focused nowadays on if I am, spilling into somebody else's space, because I know I'm not. So when I've, had more recent flights, like it's just not even been a consideration of mine. Something else that's different now versus 100 pounds ago is my view on stairs. So now I like to take the stairs. Now I seek out the stairs. Like last night I was at work, and I was in a different area than I usually am. And so I asked somebody, how do I get down a level? And they said, oh, there's an elevator right there. And then he was like, or there's stairs around the corner. I was like, okay, great, cool. And I just went around the corner and took the stairs. Like, it's just I prefer the stairs over the elevator or even the escalator at this point. Like, 100 pounds ago, no, it would have been elevator or escalator all the way. Like, no to the stairs. But yeah. I parked at my other job. I had to park a couple weeks ago, and in the parking garage, and I couldn't find parking because I got there a little later in the day, so I couldn't find parking on the lower level, so I was up on level 5. And again, 100 pounds ago, like, it wouldn't have even been a question. I just would have taken the elevator. But I, just was like, okay, I'll take the stairs down. Maybe I'll take the elevator back up. Depends on how tired I was. But then when I got back, I was fine. And so I took the stairs all the way, up to the 5th floor, and I was fine. So that's different. But this one's pretty silly, but I remember 100 pounds ago, kind of right after the pandemic started, when everybody was going to TikTok to entertain themselves, there were some dances that I really wanted to do to learn that involved skipping, and I suddenly couldn't skip. Didn't know how to skip. And, I was so frustrated, and so one of my friends was like, oh, you just, it's because we're older. You kind of lose the ability to skip. And I was like, I don't know. I think it's my weight. And I just couldn't, and it was my weight. Like, I couldn't get the timing right, and there was too much mass. And yeah, I just couldn't skip. But now, I have to skip with my arms doing this, but I can skip now. It might not look the cutest, but I can skip again. So I think that was number 19. Number 20, the biggest difference between now and the me 100 pounds ago was my confidence and my ability to walk into a room and not immediately think that everybody's thinking of how fat I am. I don't know. I still have some, insecurities and anxieties. I walk into a room and wonder if I have something in my nose or if my pants are unzipped. But I don't immediately walk in and think, oh my goodness, everybody thinks I look fat, and everybody is hoping I don't sit next to them and take up their space. So the confidence that I have now is just so much more than 100 pounds ago. And I know I've mentioned this in other videos, where I'm still like inside the same person, but it's just, it feels like people give me more of a chance to prove to them who I am nowadays. and I'm just a little, I'm more confident now to actually show them who I am. And I'm, you know, finding myself being a little more outgoing and a little more extroverted these days. So, yeah, confidence. That's what, I lost the weight, but I gained a bunch of confidence. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, watch some past videos if you haven't seen them, if they interest you. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.